welcome back to the Arbiters Seeking podcast.
The only podcast based around seeking authority on topics and thinking outside the norm.
And today we're going to be talking about estrogenics.
That's right.
So I know some stuff. I know what estrogen is.
Know some stuff.
I know what genetics are. I don't know if they're related to this subject, but
Okay.
Could you tell me what estrogenics is?
So, an estrogenic substance is that of it's something that is absorbed or consumed by the body that acts as a supplemental hormone of estrogen.
Okay.
So, we talk about like taking steroids, like testosterone. No one talks about taking estrogen.
Yeah, because what guy would want to take estrogen on purpose?
It's interesting you say that, though. Even for women, to have more estrogen than what is natural for their bodies is actually very damaging to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I came across estrogenics summer of 2023 because I was dealing with some pretty bad health issues and came across a couple YouTube channels that kind of opened my eyes on the subject and how much of it is around us and really affecting our well-being without us even realizing it.
What channels?
For one, the biggest one that really opened my eyes, his name is Carl Ram.
I haven't heard of that one.
Extremely intelligent guy.
Carl Ram?
Carl, K-A-A-L-R-A-A-M.
That's a cool name.
That's his name. Extremely intelligent guy. He's in the Army. He lives in Hawaii. Really cool guy. But the biggest thing that happened to me that really made me open my eyes on the subject was I went through a protocol of antibiotics after having strep throat. And immediately, as soon as I was done with the antibiotics, I started having the weirdest health issues I've ever had in my life.
Like what?
My entire body, talking in between my toes, inside my ear canals, every square inch of my skin itched.
Really?
I'd have class the next day, but I'd be scratching myself awake at 3 a.m.
Wow.
My life, it was genuinely terrible.
The only time that's ever happened to me is when I was sitting in a deer stand and I got eaten alive. I didn't have any bug spray on. I couldn't even sleep. My whole body felt like cold. I had sores all over my body. That was miserable.
And see, there's at least rationale behind that. I'm itchy because I was bitten by bugs.
Yeah.
For me, I was itchy for no apparent reason.
Makes no sense.
Exactly. Little did I know is from the inside out.
Really?
That was causing all this. Yes.
Well, what'd you find?
I found, namely, diet, which I'm not going to go too deep into.
Yeah, we've beat that horse.
Diet was definitely a direct cause, but because, obviously, being addicted to sugar, the last thing you want to get rid of is sugar. So I started looking for other methods of treating this issue I was having.
Yeah.
First thing, plain and simple, the water. Our water quality in the United States has been compromised for decades.
Yeah. I've heard a bit about that, but what are we talking about, like, specifically here?
So, because, in water treatment facilities specifically, fluoride is added and chlorine is added.
Yeah.
These are both used for the treatment of the water and any bacteria that could be in it. Face value, that sounds pretty good.
Well, kind of. I mean, chlorine's in pools.
Right.
I don't really think that... I don't think any rational person would think that it's good to do that, to have chlorine in their water.
But it's clean water. That's the thought process behind it.
And I brush my teeth and have fluoride in it, so there's no problem there.
So fluoride, we can go into fluoride for a little bit.
Okay.
So fluoride, first of all, it affects your pineal gland, which directly affects your hormone production. When you consume fluoride, whether it be topically or orally, when you brush your teeth or just drink tap water, which you should never be doing, you are directly affecting your hormones.
Really?
Fluoride, and then chlorine is absolutely detrimental to your skin.
Yeah.
Completely detrimental to your skin.
I've heard that mint also affects your hormones as well.
Mint?
Yeah, mint and mint flavorings and things like that. And that could be also associated with the fluoride because every single toothpaste is flavored with mint. But we're talking about the water supply right now.
Well, I actually have a mint flavored fluoride-free toothpaste that I use.
I don't know how strong the mint is.
I don't know either. I've never
yeah.
heard of that, but
I'll
I'm
have
not
to
saying
show
it's
you.
not true.
Yeah.
But so the first thing I did was I bought a shower filter. I now use a shower filter that is it specifically targets filtering out chlorine, and fluoride. It also adds in minerals to the water, which are healthier for your skin and hair.
It adds in minerals?
It adds in minerals.
Which ones?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know. It's supposed to basically mimic that of water that you would find naturally.
That's good.
Yes. Another big thing to the ladies possibly watching, if you think that you are not on birth control, but you are drinking water not treated in the way I'm about to describe, you are on low levels amounts of birth control.
And me too.
The biggest concern of all of this is that men are also on birth control. Birth control is not a treated substance in the water treatment facilities. And when women that are on birth control urinate it, it goes into the water supply and it's never removed. This comes back out through the tap.
And so it's just building upon itself.
Yes.
Eventually we're going to be have so much estrogen in the water supply. It's
It's insane.
So much of those drugs in the water supply, not estrogen.
There's so much stuff in our water supply. Do you know what atrazine is?
No.
It's a byproduct chemical that's in Roundup. It's in our water supply as well. Atrazine.
My grandfather got cancer from Vietnam from Roundup based products with all those chemicals.
I don't doubt that at all. It's in our water.
A lot of them got it because they would bathe in these pools.
Yep.
That was, they were holding all that in.
And not to mention Agent Orange and all that kind of stuff, but
I think Roundup made Agent Orange, right?
I wouldn't.
Or
be
similar
surprised.
chemicals are used.
I mean, it was used to strip foliage.
Yeah,
What's that word? Foliage. Yeah. From trees. So that would make sense. I digress. Big name, Alex Jones. Not trying to, put him on a pedestal or anything, but he was correct when he said that they are turning the friggin' frogs gay. So amphibians have the ability to actually change sexual reproduction organs based off need.
Oh.
However, when there's a large population of frogs, it's unnecessary. Atrazine that has made it into these ponds and lakes, it has been shown to turn male frogs female when unnecessary. And
So
when
not gay, but changing gender.
Exactly.
But that's still insane.
Yes. And this is the biggest one. They have started human trials of the effects of atrazine on human brains. And it has that of a similar effect.
Changing gender, having the psychological...
Yes, psychologically.
Oh my gosh.
Really makes you wonder.
That just blew my mind.
So now you know how dangerous the water is.
Okay.
Clearly that it's almost evil how this is our clean water that's free to everyone. And yet it is literally poison.
So yeah, I've been told many times that the water is messed up. I haven't gone into this detail on it, but I've pursued different routes to get clean water, like water osmosis machine, or looking up natural springs and knowing where they are and going to them. They always have flowing water and filling up just a bunch of plastic bottles, which I want to avoid plastic too.
It's good. That's another thing I'll get into.
But what other ways are there around it that you would suggest?
So I use, in my opinion, the maximally effective technique.
Maximally effective.
I do not use a Brita filter, as the Brita company would have you believe is the most effective way of purifying your water. It is, in fact, the mere surface level actionable step in terms of fixing your water.
Do you know what it takes out?
It's whatever a charcoal filter will filter out, because that's all a Brita filter is.
So it's just probably filtering out particulate then.
Exactly. It does not remove the chemicals that are chemically embedded in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I use an at-home distiller.
Really?
Yes.
Where's that?
I distill my water. It's a reservoir, and it has a fan at the top. I guess I don't know why there's a fan actually, but essentially it's got a hot plate at the bottom, and it boils the water and funnels it out through a little siphon on the edge.
Is that Berkay?
No, it's a company called Vivor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've heard Berkays also don't filter everything out.
I don't know.
But
if you're distilling
your
water, you are literally creating pure H2O.
okay.
And I have that trickle. It trickles out. It takes about 3 3/4 hours to make a gallon of water. So I usually just run it overnight. And I have it trickle into a glass gallon-sized water dispenser. That brings me to glass.
Okay.
So I create pure H2O, and before I get into plastic versus glass and other materials, I add electrolytes. That's probably the most important actionable step once you have clean water that you know is clean.
Mm-hmm. Potassium, magnesium,
Potassium,
sodium.
magnesium, and salt.
Yeah.
I told you about the ratio that I make. It works perfectly.
Well, what is it just for?
So I take a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of magnesium, and a 1/4 teaspoon of potassium citrate and magnesium malate. And that, I've been using that for months now. I feel phenomenal throughout the day. I almost have completely even energy levels, and I would highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Never get any cramps of any kind, even with workouts and bowling recently.
Yeah. Cramps in a normally hydrated person, getting all the normal electrolytes should never happen.
Correct.
Unless you have absolutely destroyed your body beyond recognition. But if you're hydrating the whole time, really. I ran a whole marathon and barely cramped at all because I was getting the right amount of sodium in. Now, I didn't get the full complex, which could be, part of my problem, because I salt everything, but I don't get enough potassium or magnesium, certainly, even when I drink coconut water.
Actually, coconut water is a perfectly balanced electrolyte drink.
But I was cheap on it because they're really expensive.
Yes.
So I drink only like one a day. It's
Okay.
like that tall.
Yeah.
I should be getting a lot more. And I definitely think that the route that you pointed me to would be a lot cheaper, and I could measure these things and get as much
Certainly.
as I want, really.
I mean, I add that ratio to a liter of water, and I drink at minimum 3 liters a day.
It's good.
So, electrolyte it up.
Mm-hmm.
Into glass.
Okay.
That's a big one. Plastic. It's been said, and I don't know how credible this is, but I have heard this several occasions from different sources, that on average, a Westerner consumes roughly a credit card size amount of plastic a week.
What? That's
Yes.
insane.
Purified water in a plastic bottle, might as well be drinking tap water.
But wouldn't a Brita filter that out?
No,
No?
because microplastic,
Okay.
microscopic plastic.
Yeah, it can't filter that out.
Correct.
Okay.
And regardless if you're using a Brita to filter out the plastic or
The
not,
Brita's plastic,
the
too.
Brita is plastic. And even if it's BPA free supposedly prevents the secretion of plastic toxins into whatever you're holding the plastic in, but it doesn't prevent microplastics.
Well, how do the microplastics come into the water?
What do you mean?
Like, how do they get in the water? They're just there because they're in a plastic container?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And so you got to think, when they produce a plastic bottle, it's heated plastic, right?
Heat molded.
Exactly. The variation in temperature automatically means there's going to be splintering. Just moving the plastic of a plastic water bottle creates splintering of microplastics.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So any fluid motion over plastic is enough to incite insertion.
Like on the
of
micron
plastics.
level, there's just
Exactly.
little pieces that are being torn off every time there's
Exactly.
motion in the water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I opt for glass, which is a solid thing made completely from organic material, sand.
Yeah.
So you can also use metal. Metal water bottles are completely fine.
Not lined in plastic.
Correct.
A lot are. Like
Yes.
every soda can is lined with plastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Defeats the purpose. Makes you think you're safe, but you're not. But if you're drinking soda, probably not safe anyway. So definitely watch out for that. Another thing, talking about plastics, plastic clothing.
Okay. This is what I'm really interested in.
What is the material called?
Polyester,
Polyester,
nylon.
thank you.
It goes by a bunch of different names. It makes materials more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them more comfortable. What I will
Sweat
say,
resistant, whatever.
yeah.
What
What I will say, just from like material science that I've done, is that like plastic or like nylon clothing is more breathable. But the reason why you smell so much after a workout isn't because you necessarily smell bad. It's because those materials actually magnify that. They don't get rid of the smell. Whereas like full cotton wool, as well as wool. Wool is actually the most goated material on earth.
Absolutely agree.
It absorbs the water, and it still heats you when when it's wet. Whereas cotton doesn't heat you when you're wet. And but cotton and wool get rid of the smell, whereas nylon doesn't. And you know, it's breathable and it's flexible. But like, what are the counter examples? Because I've heard that you can like absorb some of these materials.
You absolutely can. Your skin is your largest organ. It is constantly absorbing its environment.
Yeah.
Down to the air molecules, actually. So when you have plastic on your skin making contact, just as those microplastics leach into the fluids that we consume, the same can be said for your skin.
And we're not even talking about just like underwear. We're talking about any clothing that has direct contact on the skin.
And that ends up in your bloodstream, which in turn circulates through your entire body. It can affect your brain. The biggest thing that we're starting to see the results of is male fertility. Unfortunately, taking a hit due to plastics.
And a lot of what I would consider male fertility problems is diet, but who knows what else we're missing. I guess that this is also probably a large factor.
It's actually called testicular toxicity.
Really?
It's directly related to plastics.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's actually an herbal supplement you can take called Cystanch, which they've at least shown in rats that it can reduce that plastic toxicity in your testicles.
Because it allows your body to process it out? Yeah. Right?
It's a detoxifier.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. So we got, males getting extra estrogen, males and females getting extra estrogen. I can say the word, I promise. We have plastics entering into the body. We have bad diets all around, soda, plastic, etc. Nobody's exercising anymore. And we wonder why our grandfathers were the hottest guys we've ever seen in our whole lives. So the women too.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
And everyone thinks that, it's just like a generational thing. We're losing testosterone because, I don't know, genetics are getting weaker or something like that.
It's generational
Seems
toxicity.
Like our whole world has kind of just taken the easiest route, not the quality route, in giving you your items.
We're currently suffering from success.
Yeah.
Life has become so comfortable, it's now killing us.
And I've been thinking lately, as an economics major, of course, we got to go back to my roots. Everything has a cost. Nothing's free. And even like religiously, I understand that like every good thing has a repercussion, right? There's no good that doesn't have a little bit of bad in it. I think we've just been focusing on like the goods, like plastic's really easy. We can get all these items to people. We can have clean water all the time, and there's no problem. We're not considering any of it. And there's like, I don't know. I did a lot of research this weekend on a bunch of different things that we can talk about at some other point, but every single time it's just we're overlooking the possible ramifications for these things.
Right.
For ease and quantity.
Yeah. Absolutely. The consumer's paradise,
But the consumers are suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most of this is completely unknown to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, soap.
Yeah.
You probably would never guess that your standard soap and laundry detergents are very harmful to you.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about that too.
Parabens and phthalates.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which is which. A phthalate is actually something that's supposed to make plastics more rigid. And I believe a paraben is something that is supposed to reduce mold in a product.
Mm-hmm.
I use Dr. Bronner's soap, which is completely natural ingredients.
Yeah.
There's no parabens or phthalates. Why are we worrying about something that makes plastic more rigid in our soap? Why are we worried about our soap becoming moldy? Parabens and phthalates also directly impact your hormones. Teflon, nonstick pans.
Mm-hmm.
Teflon, when it is heated at cooking temperatures, I'm not even talking about superheated material here, I'm talking about cooking temperatures. Particles of it come off into your food, and they're actually PFAs, PUFAs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Forever chemicals. They do not leave your body.
I have heard that there was enough concern about that Teflon updated the formula, but I'm not sure how it performs in like really high temperatures. It probably still gets into your body, but
Likely.
yeah.
And I also wouldn't be surprised if only a minuscule change would be enough for them to say, oh, we've updated it, it's completely safe to use now.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just use something that's tried and true, like a cast iron pan, where even the carbon buildup on it is completely edible and actually good for you? The iron intake in your body is good for you.
Mm-hmm. Or stainless steel.
Yes.
But that's not going to be as nonstick as your cast iron, probably.
You heat it up enough, it actually is. It works pretty well.
Yeah.
I use cast iron and stainless steel. Works perfectly fine.
If I could have my perfect kitchen, I would definitely have those.
Certainly.
But
another thing, this one's pretty evil, honestly.
oh yeah,
ZEA.
what is that?
It's a mold.
Mold. Okay.
Okay, you drink coffee.
Oh yeah, I had some today.
I also drink coffee. That's the hardest part about this one. This is the hardest pill to swallow for me. ZEA, it's a widely common. It's pretty much, it's gonna be present if you have any kind of grain. If you have dry grain, you're gonna have ZEA.
Okay.
So it's like specifically grain in bread. When it sits in mass storage, this mold spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
Even when you cook with it, the ZEA is in the grain or seed.
And this is just commercial bread, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So any bread you find on the shelf
Yeah.
is likely toxic with ZEA, which also is an estrogenic. It's obviously present in coffee. Coffee is one of the biggest things in terms of, if you get ground coffee especially, it's going to be moldy, regardless if it looks like it or not. It has mold in it. There's also something where if you're allergic to shellfish, you're probably allergic to ground coffee because there's so much roach in it. Because the roaches just get ground up.
Wow.
Kind of crazy. Something to think about. But some actionable steps.
Okay. Yeah, let's get into that.
Obviously, when you're talking about clothing, it's fairly easy just to opt
100%
for natural clothing. Cotton, wool. I wear jeans. Jeans, 100% cotton. That's awesome.
Some of them have polyester to make them stretchy.
Yes.
Like your girls' jeans.
That's true, yeah.
I have stretchy jeans as well.
Lululemon, for the ladies, that's probably a big one. Lululemon, you're doing nothing but absorbing plastic.
Well, essentially all workout gear is polyester.
Yes.
So
I work out completely fine in cotton, truly.
oh no, but my sweat stains. I'm going to get embarrassed.
Well, like Grayson said here, you might as well just look embarrassed than smell embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the biggest one. God obviously gave us these materials to use. He didn't say, here's nylon, here's polyester.
Yeah.
Oh, this is also another big one, a hygiene product, deodorant. Dude, I used the aluminum deodorant
Yes,
for years.
I did too.
When I switched to a more natural, I used Dr. Squatch.
I do too.
When I switched to a non-aluminum, aluminum-free deodorant,
Mm-hmm.
the underside of my arm, I just got this huge rash under both of my armpits.
From the natural?
My body was detoxing the aluminum.
Wow.
That's how long I had been absorbing aluminum. And your pits are actually extremely absorbent.
Mm-hmm.
So, very good idea to be careful about what you put there.
I honestly, when I got off of the aluminum stuff that's supposed to make you not sweat there, sweat less when I wasn't dependent on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because your body's...
And it doesn't come out smelling bad either.
Yes.
Because
Because you allow your body to do what it's naturally supposed to do, it's going to do it. Our bodies are extremely efficient, and what we've been programmed to think is that they're not. Oh, I need this this highly concentrated poisonous laundry detergent because I emit such an awful smell. Clean up your diet and you won't smell so bad. Same thing with deodorant. Oh, the water's clean. It's not. We're programmed by consumerism and the advertisements that we need all these things when our bodies have natural abilities to just take care of themselves.
Yeah. If you live a natural lifestyle, you won't smell bad, but you're not going to smell like cologne all the time. That's not a natural smell. You're just...
I'm really glad you
Yeah.
said cologne.
Oh, yeah?
Cologne, the alcohol in the cologne is also xenoestrogen.
Really?
Fragrance
I didn't know
is a
that.
xenoestrogen.
I always knew that, like, strong fragrances, I have a really adverse reaction to them. If my mom has, like, a candle going, I put it out, like, right away.
Yeah.
Or any of the Air Wicks or Glade or anything like that, I have to unplug those because they give me a headache.
And people that have those plugged in complain about headaches. That is exactly what's causing the headache. That's awesome that you can recognize that.
Yeah. I think a lot of things that we're really sensitive to and we don't like, but we just like, oh, but I'd rather smell good. Those are natural, bodily functions telling you that substance is dangerous for you.
Yes.
I think we need to, take some of those things a little bit more to heart than we currently are.
I absolutely agree. So some more actionable steps. So obviously opt for natural materials, metal, glass for cookware, cast iron, stainless steel. If you're going to cook something and have leftovers, glass. Always.
None of this is like really inconvenient. It's just
No, it's
choosing
not.
one product over another.
Exactly.
You don't have to, yeah.
And if you buy glass storage containers for food, they're going to last longer.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't get stained by anything that you
Exactly.
put inside of it. It's more versatile. Almost everyone would prefer to have a glass container.
I would hope so. All right. And then obviously limiting processed foods. Seed oils themselves are estrogenic.
Yes. I would like to do a full episode on that. Just like,
We definitely could.
yeah. But,
So besides just doing the opposite of pretty much everything that we've just discussed as a problem, let's say you want to make a change, you want to reverse everything. Possibly one of the best things that you can do is fix your water intake and also go in a sauna very frequently.
yeah.
Don't just go in a sauna though and sit there. You need to go in there and actually wipe off the sweat that you sweat out. Your body is extremely good at actually secreting things that should not be in your body through your sweat. But let's say you leave the sauna, your body's going to absorb what's on your skin again. So you need to wipe off what your body's trying to get rid of.
Interesting. Well, I think that is we have limited time, but this is definitely an intriguing episode. If you liked this information and found it helpful, we would hope that you consider subscribing and joining us next time.
Adios.
Amigos.